So my final segment for today is one of my favorites, but also like the one that scares me the most. This one is called Terrifying Technology.
Terrifying technology.
Beep boop bop. Beep
Beep
boop.
boop.
11011. One thing I love about doing this podcast is I get my topics from the silliest possible places. This particular story and subsequent theory I heard from comedian Dan Soder on the most recent episode of his podcast, Soder, with special guest Sal Volcano. And Soder may have been high, but regardless,
It doesn't matter.
extremely fascinating. So, the theory that Soder brought to the table is that basically he thinks that technology, specifically cell phones and the internet, is actually an extraterrestrial weapon meant to destroy life on Earth.
Go
Checks
on.
out. Checks out. So
Sure does.
you hear that and you're like, but also like he might be right. Let's explore that theory together, shall we?
God, yeah. I mean, Black Mirror. Come on.
So the crux of this episode comes a little bit later, but I did want to start at Roswell, which is something an insane person would say, but please hear me out.
I'm ready. I didn't even blink. I was like, let's go.
On July 7th, 1947, something crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. I'm sure you've heard about it.
What?
2 months later, 2 months after this, the CIA secretly forms. There's actually a really great book. I know I have talked about it before.
You better put it on the webpage.
It's on the page, bitch. It's on the webpage. The book is called The Day After Roswell, and it's written by retired Colonel Philip J. Corso. Now, Mr. Corso claims that he was assigned to a secret government program that provided some of the material recovered from the crashed spacecraft to reverse engineer them for corporate use. Now, this is a man he's a colonel in the United States military. At the time, he was the special assistant to Lieutenant General Arthur Trudeau, who headed Army Research and Development. The head of Army
The
Research
head.
and Development. This was his main man.
Wow. Okay.
According to him, a few of the reverse engineered technologies that we were able to obtain includes fiber optics, which gave us the internet, as well as integrated circuits, also known as microchips, which gave us computers. And just a plug for our own show, season 4, episode 10, is called Friends in High Places. Joe dives deep into Colonel Corso and some other high-ranking government officials who have come forward. It's a really fucking good episode. So go listen to that.
We all love when Joe does a deep dive and goes hard. Like, you know it's going to be good.
You know it's going to be good. He probably gets mad. It's great.
We love it.
That doesn't sound half bad, though. We got space travel, we got computers, we got the internet, we got iPhones. Why would that be a weapon? Well, it does seem to be destroying our brains and society as we know it. As for our brains, one report showed that adults in the United States check their phones on average 344 times a day. And like, it's not really our fault. Our society has built our entire lives around our phones. Check your bank account,
Right.
phone, email, phone, social media,
Everything is on the phone.
Googling, ordering food, looking up directions. It's your phone, it's your phone, it's your phone.
My entire lifeline. Yeah, it's like everything's on the
Weather,
phone.
it's the
true.
phone all the time. Phone and internet usage is affecting our memories. We know for sure our short-term memories, at least, because we're able to test that. But we aren't really sure what we're going to look like, what you and I are going to look like in our 80s, because the technology is so new. It's evolving and
Right.
advancing so
Like,
fast.
this hasn't been studied. Like, we are
the guinea pigs.
Yes, exactly. Like, they're going to be studying
the
us
test
and saying, like,
subjects.
oh, nobody do what these assholes
Yeah.
do. Because our brains are mush.
Mush! And we've discussed this on the show, too, so I'm not going to get into it. But our stress levels are higher than, like,
God, yeah.
they ever should be. Because evolutionarily, we should be living in pretty small communities. We should be worrying only about what's happening in our community. But we have the internet, so we worry about what's happening in every community and
Everywhere.
globally. It's a lot for our brains, and we obviously are not coping well. Bad news bears, the internet's not great.
Bad news bears
Well, that's
indeed.
the thing is like we really thought like with all of this advanced technology, we're only going to be more connected, we're less connected. We're only going to be more
Yeah,
our lives are going to be easier. They're kind of getting more difficult. They're getting harder. They're getting more complicated when it should be getting easier, etc.
right.
And to
Yeah.
demonstrate, and this is something that Soder was talking about in his episode, to demonstrate how dramatically this technology is affecting us, we have to talk about the Marubo tribe.
Okay.
The Marubo people live in the Amazon, deep in the Amazon. And for hundreds of years, they've lived in communal huts scattered hundreds of miles along the Itui River. Some of the villages take an entire week to get to by boat. They are secluded. Um, their tribe was actually completely uncontacted until the end of the 19th century when rubber trappers arrived and essentially led them to decades of disease and violence, as well, though, as the arrival of new customs and technology. They started wearing clothes. They started using firearms instead of bows and arrows. They started using chainsaws instead of machetes. Um, at one point in the 60s, Sebastio Marubo was the very first Marubo to live outside of the forest. Like he went to the nearest city, and when he came back, he brought a boat motor, which cut trips for them from weeks to days.
Can you imagine how mind blowing that
Mind
moment would be of
blowing.
like, that
What?
what?
We
What
can
is
go
this
that
motor going
fast?
to do? I have been spending so much time.
To that point, every technological advancement, even though some of the elders didn't love it, helped their tribe. It made
Yeah,
their life easier.
sure.
Then in
Oh no.
2022,
But I was feeling happy.
Elon Musk
Ugh.
went to Brazil and he thought, wouldn't it be cool to bring the internet to tribes in the Amazon? He's a thinker.
Fuck that dude.
Of course he did. He went to Brazil. He was talking to this tribe. He was telling them all the things that he could do. He was telling them about Starlink, blah, 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 blah. The Marubo's new now leader, Enoke, thought it seemed pretty darn cool as well. So he requested 20 Starlink antennas to transform life for his tribe. The cost was $15,000, an amount that they obviously did not have, but luckily word got to Allison Renault, and I do not have time to get into Allison Renault, but she is a piece of work. Anyway,
Save it for another day.
fucking hell. She donated
Allison.
the 20 Starlink antennas. Apparently, Musk just couldn't afford it, but this woman bought them and donated them.
Well, Musk is struggling, so like I don't
Financially,
blame him. Like,
is
how do
struggling.
you even?
After only 9 months of having the internet, they fell apart. The youth members became almost completely uninterested in their traditions that they've held since the beginning of time. They are glued to their phones at all hours. The internet changed their routine so much it started to become detrimental to the entire tribe.
Wow.
The tribe leader ended up saying, like, in the village, if you don't hunt, fish, and plant, you don't eat. So they ended up having to limit their internet use drastically. It's only switched on for 2 hours in the morning, 5 hours in the evening, and all days on Sundays. During those hours, wherein, this time last year, tribespeople would be making dyes and jewelry and telling stories and visiting with elders and shamans and playing, now they just crouch over their phones. And not only that, the tribe's not doing well. Like group chats have caused gossip and drama. Some people have been scammed. First person shooter games have begun very popular. Pornography has become a huge problem, and there's been more aggressive sexual behavior from young men that they never had problems with before.
Oh my god.
It's a
They
mess.
turned into
It's a
America.
mess. Now, There obviously are some positives as well. It's not all horrible. They've been able to coordinate between villages for the first time
Sure.
ever in this way.
Yeah.
Marubo teachers have been able to share lessons with students in villages that they couldn't reach. Everyone gets to like be in contact with faraway family and friends. Like, amazing.
There are, of course, positive. I mean, same to
Same to
us.
us,
Like,
yeah.
there are many positives to the internet, however.
However, there's a lot of
Heartbreaking with everything else.
super negatives too. The biggest positive,
Jeez.
obviously, is like in emergencies, being able to call in a
Yeah.
helicopter when one of them is injured or bitten by a poisonous
Right.
snake. Like before, they had to use a radio and they would like relay a message to the next tribe who would get the next tribe who would get the next tribe.
Oh
Eventually,
gosh. Like, and
authorities,
how
yeah.
long does
So,
that
like
take? Yeah.
things that you don't have to die from, you would die from
Yeah.
because you're so
You're right.
in the middle of nowhere. So
Secluded.
it's
Yeah.
saved lives, but um it's bad. Inoke, along with a Brazilian activist named Flora Dutra, did promise to provide internet training, but no Marubo that was interviewed said that they had received any. So that's a big problem. Regardless, they plan to bring more Starlink antennas to the Amazon so they can connect even more tribes.
What can you say what the time span again was of like,
9 months.
yeah, it was under a year, right? That is crazy. And they're experiencing like what we all are experiencing collectively with technology, but it's been a slower advancement for us. But for them, it's like they went from 0 to
Well, and they
1,000.
also went from like not knowing what was going on all over the world to now knowing
I'm
what's
like, of
going
course you'd
on.
be obsessed. And it's like, I would never want to leave my
Yeah,
phone.
now a lot of them, they dream of leaving the villages, which they never had before. And like
They know what's out there now.
it's a struggle, internal struggle for me because part of me is like good for them, like they can go explore, they can experience new things, but at the same
Right.
time it's like their traditions are dead. I mean, their culture is effectively dead.
Yeah, they've lost it all.
And like that's the thing. That's what's really sad is the elders are like this is the worst thing that's ever happened to us. Like I mean it's over,
Right.
you know. And actually
Yeah. That's
Inoke,
heartbreaking.
the leader, or no, I'm sorry, his father, who was the first Marubo to ever leave, like ever,
Hmm.
and come back.
Wow.
But he tells the story of Marubo's most respected shaman that had visions. This was decades ago. He had had visions of a handheld device that could connect with the entire world. And his vision was that it would be good for the people, but in the end, it would not be. In the end, there would be war.
Sounds about right. How did he know?
How did he know? But as of now, the tribes are refusing to go back to their pre-internet days.
Well, yeah, you can't. That's the thing is you can't go back. You
You
can't.
can't.
Like now
You've
you've been
opened
exposed.
Pandora's box. There's no there's no going back.
Good lord. And it's like the youths are so heavily influenced. So like of course they are the ones getting so excited about this and not being able to be peeled away. And like it is so heartbreaking for the elders who it is like these traditions have been here for like thousands of years and like I can't believe you're just dropping it, but that is how the world
Mm-hmm.
works. Like we were once the youths easily influenced, now it's the next generation who like truly can't be away from their phone at any time and everyone has a TikTok account and it's just like yeah, the youngins, they're going to grab on.
So, if extraterrestrials did want to destroy us, do you think that they would spend time and resources blasting all of us with ray guns, or do you think that they would just drop some new technology, zip away, and come back and say, 1,000 years when we're all dead?
It's definitely the technology, and they dropped it in the most clever way because they dropped one of their own, and he's not even like hiding that well because he looks like an alien, Elon Musk.
Ah, ha 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 ha, Elon. Sorry.
But whose laugh is that? An alien's.
An alien. We figured it out. You heard it here first, folks. We're the first people to accuse Elon Musk of being an extraterrestrial.
I know.
I'm
I mean, like
sure.
literally everybody. Like he's either an alien or a lizard person. But like this just only proves it even more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, yes, it is an alien's weapon. And they were like, Elon, you kind
Elon,
of look human, I guess.
go
And his
down
name's
there.
Elon. Actually, that's not fair. I don't know where Elon is from. I could just be disrespecting
He's
somebody
South
right there.
African.
Elon, I know, but like Elon to me, which is inappropriate, and again, you're probably gonna have to edit it out, but that sounds like from Xenon. I don't know, we might live in
He did
space.
name his daughter a bunch of letters and numbers, so
That's why I don't feel
actually,
that
now
bad.
that
But
we're
like
talking
somebody in
about
South
it,
Africa is
is
gonna write
Elon
to us and be
Musk
like, Elon is my baby's name, and that's when we get canceled. So
cancel me? You know what? Do me a favor. Put me out of my misery. Cancel
we are
me,
unhinged
okay?
tonight.
I'm
Cancel
over
us.
it.
We're riding out. We're riding out on Elon's spaceship with Starlink in tow. We'll have the best internet access.
Yeah, we'll have the best Wi-Fi. 6G. All right.